everybody, my name is Allie. Welcome to my weight loss YouTube channel. I have been wanting to make a YouTube channel for a really long time now, probably several months, and just out of fear, I have been putting it off. So, number one rule of YouTube, don't put it off, but you know, here we are. So, about a year ago, January of 2019, I decided to have weight loss surgery. Now, as anybody knows, that process does take a while, and obviously about a year because I have not had it yet, but I am getting close. So I really wanted to make a YouTube channel to not only document and have something to look back on while I'm going through this, but I also wanted to have something in case somebody stumbles upon it, they maybe can get information out of it or just maybe not feel so alone, because this process can be very long and it can be isolating sometimes or just frustrating. So, you know, here we are. We're in it together. So again, my name is Allie. I'm located near St. Louis, Missouri. And about a year ago, January 2019, I decided that I really wanted to move forward with the process of weight loss surgery. Now, at the time, I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do as far as the surgery goes. So I originally started at a hospital with a surgeon that was near to me, as well as one of my friends, a previous coworker, had actually gone to the surgeon in hospital. Now she had the sleeve. Now, when I first went into the office was very crowded. They did charge me like $40 or $50 for just paperwork that I filled out and gave to them. So I'm not quite sure if that's normal. It felt a little weird, and I haven't run across it since, but I don't know, that was their process. And I did see the surgeon day one. Now, he was a nice guy, probably really great for people that are sure that they want the sleeve, because that was basically the only surgery that he does, is the sleeve. And at the time, I was leaning towards that, but I wasn't actually sure if that is what I wanted to do in the long run. And just the vibe he kind of gave off was, I don't know, it just wasn't quite for me. Now I did go to the seminar before, you know, meeting with the surgeon for the first time. So I did get quite a bit of information about the other types of surgery, which is also another reason why I wanted to keep my mind open when it came to the decision that I had to make. So I just kind of, it was helpful to kind of get that point of view, but I don't know, just something felt off with that. So I decided to kind of look around. Now it sounds like I'm gonna work there. No, I submitted paperwork to a couple of other weight loss centers in St. Louis. One of them was the office that one of my friends was going to go through. At the time, she was thinking she was going to do the surgery as well. So I was kind of excited to maybe, you know, have the surgery around the same time with the same surgeon. Who knew? I also had done some research and I found a fantastic weight loss center at a hospital I had gone to a few years back. And not only was the weight loss center and the hospital nationally recognized, but the surgeon that I'm now going to, he had a lot of degrees, he had a lot of, you know, background, he does a lot of surgeries, and not only that, but he does them all, basically. So not only does he do the sleeve, he does the RNY, which now I'm deciding to get, and then also the switch. So basically he could do anything. So that was also another reason, because at the time I wasn't sure. So I ended up submitting paperwork, and I heard back, maybe I should have taken better notes of this. I want to say like maybe April. I finally got into the office and had my first visits. I got my first, you know, records and everything with them. And I also got to see the nutritionist, which she was awesome. I love her. So from there, I, you know, saw the nutritionist for the next, I believe, 4 months. On the second visit, I ended up seeing the therapist at the time, which I know a lot of people are very nervous about seeing the therapist to get cleared for surgery. I know I was super nervous because I do have a history of, you know, depression and anxiety. I'll go more into that in my background and in another post. But it wasn't bad at all. So, I mean, I would recommend being, you know, as honest as possible, you know, do what you need to do. But yeah, the therapist visit wasn't bad at all, and she was so nice, and I'm sure they're all very nice. So, you know, they're just there to help you succeed and make sure that you're okay. So, I would just keep that in mind. And then I want to say on the very last visit was actually my birthday in August. I had my last nutritionist visit, as well as my visit with the actual surgeon. Now, this was the first time that I actually saw the surgeon. Again, not sure if it's normal, but it was really nice. He was very sweet, very handsome. He explained everything to me. I know he's a busy guy, but he really took the time to explain what I would be going through, explain what he expects. It just was a really positive experience with him. And it just kind of solidified my decision to meet with him. From there, you know, I explained to him that I was leaning towards the gastric bypass instead of the sleeve, which right now is extremely popular and common for people to get. And the reason for that, I mean, I'm sure I'll go over more in a different video, but, you know, I'm not going to give my exact weight right now, but I am over 300 pounds. I don't have any health-related illnesses related to my weight, but I do have a pituitary tumor, which affects my hormones, and it affects my weight, of course. So I just figured having that extra oomph in a surgery could help me. Not to mention, I read that the sleeve can really affect having reflux, and I'm already prone to some reflux, and I really want to avoid having any more of it or having it like continuously. And also, this might sound a little weird, but I know that the gastric bypass can have you dump. Again, I'll go a little bit more into that in a different video if anybody's curious what dumping is. But basically, as weird as it might sound, I would rather have something that would have that dumping, just because I feel like it's an extra way of saying, hey, you ate something or you ate too much of something that you weren't supposed to have. Why don't you not do that again? It sucks and you don't want that to happen again. So that was another reason that I chose the gastric bypass. And also there's been more studies on it. There's been a lot more of them done. It's been around longer. You know, I feel like that's, you know, pretty good to work with, at least to kind of get started. So yeah, I decided to have that. Now, I did mention that I have a pituitary tumor, benign, so not cancerous. I've been dealing with it for a few years now. But unfortunately, the pituitary tumor likes to be a little bit stubborn. I take medicine for it, but if I'm not as good on my medicine, it likes to grow and mess with my hormones and all that fun stuff. And last year, I had been going through some stuff, and I mean, you sure don't need to know all about it, but I ended up not taking my medicine as well as I should have been, and my pituitary tumor grew, even grew a little baby, so I have 2 now, as well as it was secreting extra prolactin and all this extra fun stuff. So basically, I needed a clearance letter from my endocrinologist who sees me for the tumor, he needed to write a clearance letter for me to have surgery, and that was required by my surgeon. Unfortunately, my endocrinologist said, no, I'm not going to write you that letter until we get your hormones back under control, which I understand where he's coming from, but wasn't the best news in the world. So I took my medicine. I did everything I needed to do. Around October, after I had gotten my endoscopy, however you say it, I had my endoscopy and I had the swallow test. Those all came back okay. My surgeon's office submitted all that insurance required information to my insurance, and I got approved in October, I believe, for my surgery, which I was thrilled about. But my surgeon's office still would not give me a surgery date until my endocrinologist had given them a clearance letter for my pituitary tumor. So I believe it was December that I finally got my clearance letter. My little tumors are shrinking and not doing all this extra stuff that they want to be doing. So I got my clearance and I submitted that to my surgeon's office and I got a date. So I got a date, I think a little bit before Christmas. I got a surgery date for January 20th. Today is January 11th. So originally they said, okay, you're ready for surgery. You're going to have a pre-op class. You're going to have some pre-op testing, and then we're going to see you one last visit before your surgery date. So I was like, okay, cool. Then they also told me that I would be doing a 1-week pre-op clear liquid diet, which I was not looking forward to. So my pre-op class, my pre-op testing, and my last visit with the nurse practitioner at the surgeon's office was on January 8th. So actually just a few days ago on Wednesday. So I went through it and got some great information. They gave me some pretty cool stuff, extras, samples. They gave me like a little tote bag and a blender bottle. It's pretty cool. Got a little bit of new information at the pre-op class that they have for us, about what to expect during surgery, what to do like the night before, the day of, etc. So it was pretty cool to get all that information. But the whole time I'm sitting there like sweating because I know I had not lost the weight that they were wanting me to reach by the time I had gotten to that visit. That can be a whole other video because Lord knows I have some problems. So I ended up, getting the testing done, had the class, was all excited for that. Went to see the nurse practitioner, super sweet. So I'm really excited to work with her again and see her again. But of course I had gained some weight from my last visit, which of course was back in August. So not only did I have vacation, I had all these extra medications and had all the holidays in there, which, is no excuse, but it is what it is. It's life. So, she was a little bit, I don't want to say nervous, but she was like, okay, well, we need to kind of get you back down. She knew that I didn't want to change my surgery date if possible, and she kind of explained why they want people to get down to a certain weight. Of course, they want the fat around the liver to be better for when they go in, and work around the stomach because the liver is so sensitive, and it'll be easier to get to the stomach, if your liver shrunk. So, she explained that to me. She's like, well, if we had known, we would have put you on a 2-week diet and blah, blah, blah. So at that point I was like, I'm really sorry, I felt so bad, and I just was like, dang it, why couldn't I have, lost that or kept it down at least? So she was like, well, you know what? We're just going to start you on the liquid diet tomorrow. So I was like, okay, I could do that. Like, I already had, you know, the broth. I had a lot of protein already, like the protein shakes and the protein mixes. Just needed to pick up some Jello. We were good. So I was like, okay, yeah, that's fine. You know, that's fine. I'm like, little did I know. So I ended up, you know, seeing my friend that night. You know, she and I went to dinner one last time. You know, I talked to her about that a little bit, and the next day I started my pre-op diet, my clear liquid pre-op diet, and today's the third day. I don't know how to describe it. It's hard because, yeah, you get hungry, but it's really mental. Like, you want to grab something to eat. Like, you want to snack. You want to sit on the couch and have something to eat, which is not a good practice. Don't get into that or break the habit now, because it's not good. But it's just that habit of wanting to grab something. Like, even now, like, I still haven't cleaned out my fridge with the boiled eggs and the chicken that I had. Just because, like, I don't even want to touch it right now. Haven't cheated. I definitely don't plan on it. I know some people do, to each his own, definitely no judgment. But I know that I didn't come from a good place during our last visit, and I really want to have the best and healthiest surgery possible. So I'm determined. I will make it through. But it is very mental, especially because, you know, and again, I'll go more into this in a different video, but my whole life I've struggled with yo-yo dieting. I'm a binger, an overeater, and I've even hidden food, you know, throughout the years, or hidden how much I've eaten. And so it's just going from one type of mindset to a completely different mindset than what you've established your whole life it's hard, you know. And I'm sure after surgery it'll be difficult too, but just having the same size stomach that I, you know, have had for so long, and have had these habits, and nothing's technically changed, at least physically yet. I don't know, it's a really difficult process so far with this pre-op diet. But yeah, so right now it's the 11th, so I have surgery on the 20th, so I have just a little over a week before I have surgery. So I plan on having another maybe 1 or 2 videos out. They're not going to be trimmed or anything fancy. You might even hear my dog in a few of them, or you get to see, you know, different roles. But my goal is to be as honest and open as possible, and have something to look back on, to know how far I've come, and to kind of give me inspiration to keep going. And if that, you know, gives that to somebody else too, I think that would be great. But, you know, I'm on this journey, and I really want it to work, and I will make it work. You know, there's been too much, and I've come too far to not let it work. So I will be having the gastric bypass on the 20th. I am really looking forward to it, and I really hope it goes well. I've seen so many great outcomes from the surgeries. I've heard different horror stories that can come from having such a big life-changing surgery, but I'm looking forward to it. So we'll make it, you know, I'll make it work, and I have some awesome support, you know, so I'm super grateful and thankful for that. And I just really hope to continue on this healthy path and make 2020 one of the best years yet. And I really appreciate anybody that's watching, or any feedback that, you know, anybody else can give to help me on the journey, or help anybody else on the journey. Would be super grateful for that as well. And hope this wasn't too long. I know it's going on a while, but first video and getting all that background stuff. So Thank you so much, and I hope you have a great rest of your day or week or whenever you're watching this, and wish me luck. Bye.